Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail with another edition of Lords of the Realm, Viewer's Choice, yay! Where today we are continuing our offensive to try and take out huge swaths of land. I'm going to clear the map here a little bit of some icons just so you all can see kind of the battle picture right now. I'm having a lot of fighting with the Earl right here. He's throwing peasant armies at me at Cambridge, but I feel like I have the upper hand. I'm in the midst of sieging his castle. I'm also in the process of attempting to take Lincolnshire, as the knight is currently caught possibly with his pants down. Well, I mean, there's a joke there, I'm sure. But what we have going on is that right now Yorkshire is totally exposed. The knight has been focused on engagements with the Baron trying to take counties to the west. So while he does have some counties, his defenses are starting to run very thin. So maybe he's pumped out most of the people that he can. Now, I do have one major concern. Let me go ahead and fill the map back again. And that is this giant ball of death from the Earl. The Earl is listed as having, from our steward report last time, massive, massive armies. So that unit could possibly roll in and take me. But as long as I keep my units here, at least for some defense, I can afford to lose Essex if I can hold the rest of my counties. We're just going to do some quick county management. I don't have a lot of money right now incoming because I have so many mercenaries, which I don't like having at this stage of the game. But with the way my start started, there's not a lot I can do. Even knights can suck my nothing, actually, because they are probably very diseased. But right now, I can't buy weapons from you. I'm debating selling cattle again, but I'm not going to because I actually want to be able to ship cattle to my neighbor Cambridge as soon as I can take it, which may be this turn or the next turn. So we have armor starting to work here. Lost some stores in a fire, which sucks, but I'm probably going to need to start getting some armors up here too. No mercs, because I have plenty of iron that I can use. So yeah, we don't need that many cow people. In fact, we probably only need 100 armors here. And this county is going to make swords. I'm just going to focus on swords for now. Actually, since I do probably have the spare population here, let's go ahead and put 130 on you. They're going to take some time to ramp up, but the more people I can commit now, the better, because I don't need a ton of grain. Because this is another county that's blessed with plenty of wool and all of that. So since we are at the start of the turn, we do have this army currently besieging this castle. Mornar Beer, I can't pronounce it, it's Welsh. I have a force from the knight trying to go through, and you can see here, Yorkshire has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, so there's a high population here. Actually, Nottinghamshire has a ton of people as well that he's feeding entirely with grain, but it looks like Lincolnshire is starving, and the sooner I can take this county, the sooner I'll be sending an aid package directly over as well. And this siege will probably take 2 or 3 more turns. So I have my Danish swordsmen right here who are going to be a good cleanup force, and we're going to see real quick what this siege breaking force from the knight looks like. So we're going to start with the fight here. 350 men of Yorkshire, and oh my god, it's a combined arms army. That is actually really freaking formidable. So thank you, knight, for actually having good forces. This is going to kill me, but hopefully I can do enough damage to actually knock them back. So we're going to go straight for the crossbowmen. I don't know if we're going to get them in time. Unfortunately, well, I can't dodge this, can I? No. We're gonna engage. No, we're not. Yay, AI pathing. We did it. We're going to go for the crossbowmen first. While they just run, let's abuse the mechanics. Because swordsmen are strong, but he has swordsmen of his own. I wish I could split this force up, but I can't. But we're going to definitely mow down as many archers as we can. So let me just pause here in a hurry. And we're going to go ahead and try and run straight to these other guys. And I don't know if we'll make it. So here we go. These crossmen are going to lay waste to my guys. But as long as I can break that siege and possibly hold the county. So there goes my illusions of possibly rolling up to Yorkshire, because the knight does have good military forces. But he also has a lot of peasants, and I have the definite morale advantage here. So his forces could be turning and running any moment now. But his crossbowmen are really smacking the shit out of my units. But yeah, when it's just peasants, not too much to say. I've killed off all of his other units. I'm losing some swordsmen, but these are mercenaries. So the other thing that I've probably mentioned before, but I'm not super huge fan of in this game is that you get glued to units. See if I can offer a quarter here. Nope, they're going to fight to the last man because they're stupid. Your little crossbows will do me no good. And they disperse. Yeah, you can't just disengage part of your large chunk of unit from one enemy and go to the next, which is where maybe Lords of the Realm 2 does have an advantage because you get to control individual units. But we can see here our Danish swordsmen, there's 116 of them left. They get the exact same wages. So carnivores, good job. For now you have defended my sieging units, and hopefully we can stay that way. Now the Earl, he's elected to actually garrison Luckless Castle. And Luckless, quite honestly, that is a much tougher siege to do. I can still do it from bombardment, but I think for now it's probably wiser for me to not waste my troops so much, because I have 82 Swedish swordsmen, and I can't actually select that one for some reason. And I have 136 Swedish swordsmen, so right now my Swedish people are sitting there. I can't combine even these armies, even though they're the same type of mercenary, which is a little unfortunate. But yeah, I just gotta hope the Earl doesn't try and roll me over, because he definitely can. Unless I can get even more mercenaries, but I'd really like to start buying weapons to make my own forces, because as you saw in that last battle, if I'm using my own army, I can get a morale advantage. Well, that was actually a mercenary army in the last battle, but I can keep that advantage between battles much better if it's actually a Earl. Okay, so the Earl's sending 300 brave people against me, and it's more peasants. Always with the peasants. So you can see where my morale's higher on my peasants than the mercenaries. And I actually do want to protect these peasants a little bit because this is my sieging force. But I do need to protect my crossbowmen. Their morale is still so good. Earl, your AI, I can't believe it. You're just a little too much here. So peasants are actually, where I was trying to kill them before, they're a little more valuable now. So we are just going to go ahead and engage this force. Like I said, I need these guys to really just hold the line here. So y'all are going to be my backup meat shield at first, because these swords, between the swordsman and the crossbowman, I can take these guys. But I just want my crossbowmen to do their thing and fire shots really quickly. And that looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. So lots of battling here. He is apparently having a limitless pool of population that he can fire on. So it's good to be the Earl, I guess. And this should be a pretty quick mop-up. They should take quarter here. Alright. So I do need to send a few more units, probably this army, just to supplement it. Once again, I'd prefer it to be some kind of weaponed army, but it's not. So he has a giant ball of doom that once again is not attacking my forces. As the knight is going to continue to push against the baron, and he's for some reason going to destroy his own fields. So siege the second. 3 attempts to storm the castle. Once again, there's no moat, so I can just fire my trebuchet on this as much as I want. You can see, whereas the other siege, there's already cracks in this tower. This one's going to take some more time. But I have a lot of trebuchets building, so we'll get to that next round. Alright, so there's first siege, May and June. What a happy time just to... Whoa, 2 attackers, so I lost 2 attackers. That sucks. So no losses, light losses. So I need to move these trebuchets back a little bit. That's what it's telling me. So siege against the Earl. This should end it. We should see the castle explode here. The garrison is begging for quarter. So yeah, they've lost. I destroyed their really only unit where they can go. So 1 trebuchet fires, and that's that. No losses. So the crumbling, we forces storm Tintagel, and what do we got? Way to fell self, you are truly on your way to a glorious future. So I have officially taken Cambridge, and knave, who do you think you're attacking? You'll pay dearly for this. So my people are super happy with me. I've just taken another county, so Cambridge, for the second time this game, is mine. And the Baron is attacking at just the right time. I don't know why he's not going for the garrison castle. So here we go. We have more trebuchets being built. I have plenty of food. I'm going to want more trebs, though. But like I said, we need to move these things just a little bit back, because we shouldn't be taking losses. We really shouldn't. So we're just going to keep these just a little bit back, like so, and move these back as well. It's probably going to take another turn of building, and then I'm just going to go to straight foraging. So we'll just, and you can't select all with this, unfortunately, so this is an old DOS game. You just got to roll with it. I'm going to keep bombarding this keep until it falls. It's going to take a few more turns. So I've really got to watch out because the knight's probably going to send a bunch of forces up to me pretty soon. So there's our mode of attack. We're all going for the same building. So my turn. The Earl still sitting with his army, and that is interesting. It looks like he has some pissed off, revolting people here, and I don't know if he's just pumping units in the Middlesex for an attack pretty soon, but they are currently running into other counties, so that's going to be a distraction for him. But more importantly, this is my county now. Plague, death, and panic. They have no food. It is harvest time. And fortunately, we do have Mr. Goldpenny here just in time. So I can actually go ahead and do this, get a lot of money. There's 500 troops currently being supported. So we're gonna have to adjust all this in just a moment, but I just want to see. There we go, 200 Norman crossbowmen, not my favorite, but they've been pretty effective so far if I can just combine them with some other kind of forces. So let's see, you're down here. It could kind of be a necessary force for me. 150 Swedish swordsmen as well. So right now my income is pitiful, but I can have a lot of armies. And I do wonder if maybe I should try and commit this army to sieging this castle. Because I can. What's the garrison size? 200 men, possibly. I could do that. But I'll need to see what exactly the Earl plans on doing here. So which one of you is healthier? Because we need to get all of our forces out of here ASAP. 136 Swedish swordsmen, you all are going to go that way. We're just going to move you all down. Actually, I probably should move you all north to support against the knight, but I'm a little worried, mainly because our friendly knight could, well, I'm going to put him here smack in the middle of the county right now. My worry with the knight is that I do have forces to fend him off right now, but that could easily change, especially when I have a guy right here and I can get Norman crossbows and possibly raise an additional army with it because this is my highest population county. I can't buy ale, so I'm gonna take a bit of a happiness hit. But let's start by how many people do we have here? Lots of people leaving, lots of immigrants too. And notice they are actually only immigrating certain places, and I don't think any of them are mine. No, that's funny. So his population was huge, and now it's not. And what really gets me is that he kept raising armies from here. This graph's really interesting, because this shows me that he kept raising armies from this area, and unless a lot of those deaths were just his armies that you were trying to raise, it's not really reflected every time, because he just raised armies every turn to take me on. So that's kind of a scorched earth strategy. We are going to go ahead, I guess, and see if we can siege this castle. This turn we can't, but we are going to move our forces in here, and we're going to have our chump blocker out in front as usual. I could possibly siege with them, but main thing is that I want to clear this county. And if that means doing economic damage by having people in there, that's fine. But for now, I'm not going to combine armies. Oh, wow, I did not want you all to stop there. I should have remembered from last time moving my other armies first is key. So let's see here. We need to fix the economy of this county fast. Let's see here. So I can buy 100 swords. I want to buy just 100 for now. He actually has very reasonable prices here. And you're going to see what I do with this is maybe clever. Ale's not worth it. I think I have another county with a merchant where ale might be worth it. Maybe. So we're going to go ahead and do this turn next. and raise 100 swordsmen and 100 peasants. So this is an army of 400, 18% of the population. Big happiness hit. He doesn't sell ale either. Shit. So the important thing for that, though, is that that's population control, which is something you just got to be willing sometimes to sacrifice the population that you have just to keep pressing on. I'm not going to have as big of a harvest as maybe I could, but I don't really need it with the population there. And you can see that with these mercenaries, I've actually made a very significant force. And I could move it north to try and really press against the knight, but I'm thinking of moving south with it instead. Mainly because the Earl is definitely a threat, and I could possibly push through and get all of his counties. Because right now the knight's not sending a lot my way, or if he was, he's kind of busted his wad. So that's nice graphic imagery right there. So here, how much money do I have left? That's always the first question. Not a ton. Not enough to hire these swordsmen this turn. Maybe next turn. So if the Earl starts to march, fortune will have smiled upon me, but for now we've got to do something about this county. We've got to get them cows. How many people do we got here? We'll get 20 cattle. I'm just going to spend as much money as I can, because you got to be willing to consolidate just a little bit. 250. So what kind of ration are we on? Quarter ration. We don't need to eat all that sheep. Half ration. We do need to eat some sheep, and that's okay. I'd rather eat the sheep than cattle. Let's see here. So the people are sick. He's had them on no ration. He's really been trying to scorch earth this. So we don't need all these couriers and foresters, although they're nice to have. So we're going to downplay that just a little bit. We don't need that many shepherds at all. We do actually need to make some cow fields. So, cacao! Alright, we'll keep it that way for now. So 62 herders. At least we're not going to lose cattle right now. And yeah, this is how he apparently feeds his people, by getting shit tons of grain. So we're going to have a really, really huge harvest here, if I can just make it through this season. So there we go. I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to get these people very happy, very healthy, eating pretty soon. So I can actually probably march these people through Cambridge and be okay. Because they're a lot closer to the knight, and that may be a more efficient use of my time. But if I move down here, I can at least be in position to possibly react to what the knight has, and these people are going to get enough grain to where I can feed them next turn. So I do want to see a cow field there. Thought there was one. Oh, we'll fix the fields. Now, I did say I was going to send some cattle from over here, and that's still the plan. So let's go ahead and just do a happy shipment. How many cattle? Let's do... Well, let's make sure that we don't... We have 800 people. We're still getting a lot of cows. So 10 per head. Let's do 16 cows. I want to stay ahead of the population curve again. I'll just conscript people into the army as needed. Because that's one way to control your population, apparently, is to just send people to their deaths. What a fair and just ruler I am. Alright, so doing pretty good here. Not the hugest harvest, but I'm still surviving on cattle alone. I could probably send out some sheep too, because eventually that's not going to work as well. Notice I'm not getting a bunch of immigrants, even with 33 happiness. But their happiness before, they've lost 8 happiness this turn. Plague plus just getting conquered by a guy that they like. So even with conscripting all of those forces, they still would rather join him than me. So it looks like I'm kind of in a position where I've maybe... Well, this is what a two-front war looks like. You have to sort of say, well, do I want to go to the top or bottom? I could send these guys and really hurt the knight, because he's going to be slow to react, and the Earl could possibly... or the Baron could possibly take him out. The Earl's kind of a bigger threat to me, though, with that ball of death that I can see right now. And I don't want him coming down here to take me on. So I'd say that was an eventful turn. This castle's just going to crumble. unless I elect to repair it. I don't know why my mouse just did that. So let's see here. How much to repair? 2 stone, 1 wood. Not really a fan of that design, but it is a castle that's there versus and it does delay sieging a little bit. So how much does 2 stone and 1 wood cost? Not too much. So I may be able to repair it here in a turn or two. So let's go ahead and click next turn. Notice the game is taking a little more time now. You'll see it in the late game for Lords of the Realm. It takes a very long time to play out. But we do have the bishop actually starting to open up a can of whoop ass on the countess here. He has all kinds of forces marching through. It's really interesting to me as there's your little tricky Earl. And the knight is going after the Baron, just committing to it, and still destroying his fields for reasons I do not understand, especially in the harvest. So let's see here. 6 attempts to storm the castle. No losses. Attempt fails. And that's something that can happen too. So we want limited success because we're starting to do a little bit of cosmetic damage to the keep. But this is going to take some time. There's no great way to take down a keep. Or actually there is. It's called the trebuchet. It just takes a lot of bombardment. So we want this building to crumble, but fortunately we're shooting from far away now that we're not losing anybody. So, well, wait, light losses. So I got to move that one back a little bit. But look at that. There's a huge crack there now. I've lost 2 attackers. 14 are killed. And now we're in the winter, and the peasants are revolting. And Stokesay Castle. So the Baron is trying to do a besiegement right next to me. So now I'm going to have to worry about the Baron as well. So this is where I've really got to start getting my forces together and in play, as it were. But that's okay. That's part of the fun. I started out really on my heels, and now I'm in a position of strength. Siege is fair. I have 246. I've apparently lost people from trebucheting, but I'm just going to say that's okay. So their morale's bad. They have no food, and my people need food. So I think we're done building, and I think we're just going to all forage because I don't need any fighters here. And we're going to double rations because we want our people to be very happy. So we have more trebuchets. We're going to move this one back just a little bit. And we're going to see if we can end the siege next turn. They're probably going to beg for quarter here if they have no food. But with all these bombardments, I could possibly also kill them outright. Okay. So let's make sure we're all actually attacking what we need to. There we go. So it's possible we take that out. So there's the knight. He's not sending any armies after me yet, unless he's going all the way around here with the Baron knocking on his door. And he's still trying to invade the Baron or something as well. I wonder if I should go ahead and take this shot with this unit just to try and go north. There's not a ton of swordsmen left, but it could be possible for me to try and take out this, but I really should wait to have these units together too. So since the knight isn't doing anything, let's start here. Bad for harvest, but we have food. And I can go on normal ration again. I do not need that many fields. Good lord, it may look good, but do not need that many fields. Need 2 cattle. I think more farming is fair, but we need to get one of those fields repaired first. So we're going to do 700 grain. There we go. Perfect. 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 And look at that. I'm getting so much more taxes now just because I have a much larger population. In fact, my total population, I can see that now. The steward screen's starting to be useful. Cambridge is still one of my happiest counties. Actually, Norfolk's still recovering from the conscription, but perfect health, normal rations, normal rations, normal rations. So we're all doing pretty good. Those supplies will be there next turn. I'd rather not have these guys stick around in this county for too long. So I am going to... I don't really like dropping them in here either, but it may be time for me to try and poke my head in and say, hey, Earl, what are you doing? So we are going to drop these guys out of Cambridge. I really hope that doesn't tilt the scales and force... Okay, we got a gift of grain, so that's good. And we are going to take this unit, and I wonder if I should just park them right here, because I do kind of want to see how big of a force the Earl has, if it's mostly peasants or what. And I want to start getting the county to not have as many units in it. I may actually, if the Earl doesn't move against me immediately, may march the other way. So let's see here. We need to get on the grain train a little more here. Just because I know it's coming, I'm gonna ship 66 grain here. I'm probably gonna need to buy some grain. Do I have any good mercenaries? I'm still looking for some more. Didn't check all my counties for that. 200 Norman crossbows. Once again, good forces to combine with peasants and other stuff. Could be kind of vital here, but right now it's an all mercenary force down here, so I'm not going to play that game too much. I'll save my money and see if I can get anything better. Still would love to get Irish spearmen, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So let's see here. 11 sheep. That's good. 4 cows. 5 cows. I can afford to... Let's see here. How badly can I drop my field here? Because I want to plant about... Let's try and plant 200 grain. I may get the population up for it, or I may not. Because I am shipping some stuff out. So I almost have some weapons done too. So yay, county management, so exciting. And I am actually going to go ahead and... I don't want to move these forces too far, but I do want to move them just a little bit ahead, just so that they can respond in case something happens either way. I like them to be in a good position. I may have just accidentally moved them too far, but hey, if it's a misclick, it's a misclick. The other thing that I get to deal with is... let's see here. Where am I going to be sieging from? I can siege from there. Good. So we're not sieging... Or we're sieging with this army. We are going to engage the Earl with this army, I guess. No, we're not. We're not going to combine armies. We're just going to march on. We're not going to screw up the micromanagement this time. So, Bedfordshire, prepare to be besieged. Yay, so Castle Luckless. Another siege, folks. This is what the game turns into. So, perfect health, excellent morale. We do not need fighters here. Once again, we want builders, lots of builders. We want some foragers. Right now, rations are what we need. How many trebuchets can this army build? First turn, 4. That's fantastic. Because I'm just going to put a line here and attack this tower. Since it's not a keep, it's going to be a little simpler for me. So this actually is interesting because they have poor morale and there's about 110 people in there. So this siege may not take too long either. Because right now, it's the barons sieging as well. And there's a bunch of tiny castles being built by everyone. Of course, that's an Earl castle. That's a Baron castle. That's a Baron castle. You see they all kind of have their preferred designs, and mine are apparently big, gaudy, and not actually built. And part of the reason I don't prioritize castle building as much is because eventually people are just gonna... I'm not gonna have to worry about it as much. So let's see, these guys are gonna eat and eat and eat. I'm gonna recover a field. I'm gonna put some stuff in there, but with the cattle next turn I should be okay. So many deaths once again. Is it everyone's just like saying, no, we don't want this guy to be here. So I'm getting some immigrants as well. I think that's it for county management, and this place is supporting 500 some troops. So that's doubling the population, so I could be losing quite a bit here. Probably should have kept these guys one more turn there, but what can you do? So Bishop is going after the Countess, so he swoop, bypass her, and start there. So 300 of these guys with very good morale. So it's going to be bye-bye to these swordsmen more than likely. But that's alright. As long as I can take on the Earl county by county, and as long as he doesn't swoop in and try and ball of death me, I think I'll be okay. But these mercenaries, I probably just barely don't have enough to take these guys on. If their morale was lower, it'd be different, but it's not, so it's not. The more important thing is that he can't attack me this turn with all of them. So let's see here. We just want to thin these forces. And next turn I'll probably want to send some troops from Cambridgeshire to support my army. But yeah, you need about 1-to-2 ratio of swordsmen to take out just a ball of peasants. Where I've succeeded in the past with this unit is because there are swamps there, but I couldn't really play with that this time. So my morale's down, their morale's going to be up. Quarters offered. Fight to the last man. See if you can take out 1 or 2 more. So there we go. Run from battle. My army's vanquished. What that does is that frees up more income for me. So that's okay. And these guys actually get to keep fighting, which is interesting. I don't remember getting multiple attacks, and oh my god, these guys are so dead. Wow, that was very lucky. So I can just park my crossbowman here, park my swordsman here. Once again, notice the morale difference between who has high morale and who has low morale, but these guys are going to get picked clean while running through the swamps. I don't even think they'll make it to my crossbows. But in the event they do, I will have peasants right in front. Peasants are a good meat wall. These aren't longbowmen, unfortunately, so I don't know if they can hit these guys from across the swamp. I can at least put them on the edge. So we'll see if we can possibly start raining arrows. Is it going to hit? Oh, we're going to be just short. Alright, so maybe if we move the swordsman close enough, we'll be able to bait him. Ah, shut up. Okay, so I guess we have to move in just a touch closer. I said a touch closer. Oh no, your boots are gonna go... What? Okay, so the battle's resolved, all my people live, and apparently half of them die. So that's useful. Not the result I expected. I was actually expecting to just retreat and have so many people left, but interesting. So there's the knight moving again, destroying his own fields, totally wrecking his county for no good reason. And he's not sending any troops against me, so maybe this is the turn where I take out this castle. Attempt fails, no losses. Cool. Maybe that's because I have it clicked on the wrong side of the building, I don't know. So, multiple failed attempts. Oh, and I just need to knock this out. Wow. That's not a good start. Wow, all these failures, man. So I was getting limited success before. There we go. I just need some limited success. I need these things to hit. There we go. So it looks like it's one more turn before the keep falls. Unless they beg for quarter. Or they all die. Okay, so at least I'm not losing troops, and hopefully I don't win the last one, but it looks like it's going to be one more go before we get to take him down. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode, I believe. We're just going to go ahead and set up our siege here as well. No attempts are made because we're still in the setup phase. So we're going to set up our siege and then call it a time for this time, as we have protesters protesting through the protest land. So this blockade's been going for 5 seasons, 65 men remain, and I'm foraging all kinds of food, so we don't really need to do that anymore. We have all the foragers we need. I guess all we really need at this point is builders or fighters. Fighters don't do a whole lot for you, so we're just going to leave that as it is. Now I'm going to need builders here, and probably going to just need to drop that down to 180 people. There we go. Because I'm going to need more food here in a little bit. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll see if that's too close or not. But just all focus firing on this tower. And this is where fighting the bishop is much more of a pain, because his castles are actually... His little towers are not exposed, they're actually in the middle, so you can't just trebuchet him from outside, you actually have to work your way in using other things. So for now, the siege mode is pretty simple. But there we go. We're going to stop on this turn. I think that I've made some good progress. I've taken Cambridge back. Lincolnshire is soon to be mine, and I can possibly move up here. Of course, with the merchant there at just the right time, the knight could buy a bunch of weapons and send another ball of death at me. So we'll see if that's the case. But for now, this is Way to Fail with Lords of the Realm. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.